everyone, and welcome to Salford and Manchester Gaming Haven.
Sorry, we're not doing that.
We're here again, and we're doing another top video. Last time we did top 5, this time, and going forward, we're going to be doing top 3s. So it's important, this video, it's all about what's to come in 2019. All of our most anticipated games. We need a shimmer, some sort of shimmer.
It's like a Weds.
Can you put a shimmer on in the edit?
Yeah, we'll put a shimmer on there. Okay, so we're going to go down the line and we're going to give a brief précis of the game, when it's going to be coming out, why we think we're going to like it, that kind of thing. Okay? Right, so I'll start. So, number 3. Number 3, I have Tokaido Namiji. Now this is a new game. It's not an expansion of Tokaido. It is a new game.
Hang on, have you followed the rules, John?
I have followed the rules. It is a new game from the designer Antoine Boza and Naide, which is the artist. Same production team as Tokaido.
Does it bolt onto the side of Tokaido? In a sort of expansion?
It does not. There is no connection to Tokaido other than the fact that it uses the same movement mechanic, i.e. the one at the back gets to move next. Yeah. So potentially, you can go as far as you want up to a pontoon, in this case, rather than restaurant, because it's all set on the sea.
And then you have to get 21 to go past them to get to the pontoon?
No, you don't. No, that would be good though. Yeah, you don't want to go bust though, because you smash the pontoon. So basically you're all fishermen moving around the Japanese islands and you're stopping at these various points and doing various actions. So for instance, instead of panoramas like you had in Tokaido, you'll be whale watching and you build up a picture of a whale as you go. Okay. Then you've got fishing, you can fish for shrimps. So it's essentially a blind draw. You keep drawing, you're trying to get shrimps, each one's worth a victory point. But if you draw 2 crabs, then they are always back. Crabs are always bad.
Don't get me pairs.
And then you've got fishing for normal fish, and they're all turned over the tiles. You pick one at random, and you turn another one over, and you put them on your net on your board. And then if you get a line of the same shape or the same colour, then you get a victory point for that. And then subsequently, when other people are choosing, they can choose island that's face up or another one at random. What else do we have? You can collect double fish. Stopping on rocks gives you. What are you laughing at? This is going to be a Zen game. Admittedly, Tokaido is a Marmite. It's a Marmite game. You either love it or you hate it. There's no in between. You stop on the rocks, and that gives you hidden objectives. So you might have to collect certain type of fish or a number of fish. Stop laughing!
Really
the artwork, it has a stark white artwork, which is amazing. You're not going to laugh when you're going to play it, you're going to be in awe of it.
Yeah, we're not going to laugh because it's going to be no fun.
How long is the anticipation for?
The anticipation is Essen. We're looking at Essen of October-ish this year.
Don't ever can wait that long.
I also said there's also, if you stop on the docks, which are like the restaurants, and instead of getting meals, you get bonuses, like for instance, if you stop on the next fishing spot, you might be able to take 2 fish rather than 1. So you can have your choice of bonus cards.
This sounds very much like a reskin.
No, it's not a reskin, it's a sequel. But
How long does it take to play?
Probably 60 to 90 minutes.
Oh, Steve's in.
I didn't actually see that, but yeah, it's coming. Don't mock it because a lot of people love Tokaido. It's just had a 10th anniversary edition. Or is it 5th?
If it played for 60 to 90 minutes, I would play it.
He's playing it, yeah. But the artwork's lovely. White artwork with the Nayade, however you say it. Nayade, yeah, is the name of the artist who does the very sort of like watercolour kind of brushstroke artwork. So that's my number 3, Tokaido Namiji.
Okay, don't know I'm going to follow that quite easily. So my number 3 is a new one by Fantasy Flight Games, and it's Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle Earth. So it's got along the same sort of lines as The Descent and Imperial Assault, using an art Mansions of Madness. Lord of the Rings, everyone loves Lord of the Rings. So, and the good thing is you can be the characters that you like in Lord of the Rings. So, for instance, you could be Legolas, but then once you've got Legolas, you can assign a class to him. So you might be Legolas, who's a musician in this one, or Legolas, who's a hunter. When you take your character, you get a set of character cards, and then when you take the class, you shuffle them all together to make this unique character deck. You have a big map where the app generates this map, and you obviously wander around the map doing various things. But then when it comes to fighting, you go into like another part of the game, which is like you might go into a tavern or a dungeon where you actually the combat take place. So you can it's just like any legacy game, because it's not a single game. It's 60 to 120 minutes per session. Yeah. I don't know how many sessions there is in the whole game. Maybe it can vary because there are different paths that you can go through. There's NCPs throughout the game that you meet up, and based on the choices that you make, it takes you.
NPC.
They get everywhere.
Did I say NCP? well. So yeah, and depending on how you interact with them, you can gain things for your character, and it'll take you down different branching paths throughout the game. There's no dice rolling in the game, which is one of the things that I don't like in certain games. Because there's some games that you have certain skills that you build up, and then you have a skill check, and you have to roll dice to see if you pass the skill check. I don't like that.
Okay, sorry. No, I was going to say, this is essentially what you're describing is Dungeons and Dragons for people that can't play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, which is me.
No, but you could play Dungeons and Dragons. That's what I'm saying. This is like, you have a section of the game where you do an RP, and then you have another section of the game where you go and fight things, and then you follow a storyline, and it's like...
Yeah, true, but I don't have to think for myself, because there's an app that does it for me.
You don't have to have a dungeon master.
No, yeah, that's true, yeah. You
can play solo as well, which more and more people are starting to do these days.
It's difficult in modern era, and you need to get on that.
And one of the cool things about it is taking the dice out of it. All the fighting in the game, called the combat, is card based. So the cards that you get matter, and also the successes. So when you are doing a skill check, say you're doing an agility skill check, on each card it has a success or a fail. So when you're building your deck of cards up, if you get a new one, you have to think, right, do I want that ability on the card, but it's a fail card, or do I want more successes in the deck? And it might not be quite as good. So there's them difficult choices that you've got to make as well. So I don't know, a little bit room warsy in terms of that, which is cool.
I'm sort of Gloomhaven.
Hopefully, yeah. I'm hoping it's like somewhere between Mansions of Madness with the app integration, and then Gloomhaven in terms of what it does.
Where do you see it in terms of Gloomhaven? Better or worse?
Oh, I don't know yet, Steve.
To be fair, it's not that hard.
But I won't have to wait very long, because April it's due out soon. So hopefully by the end of April it'll be available to give a go. So that's my number 3.
Like it.
Okay, Steve.
Okay, my number 3 is also an adventure type game. It's called Adventure Games, and it's coming in 2019 is what's quoted. When that is probably 2020. Playing 1 to 4 players and 75-minute sessions, so it's like an exit type game, but it's more story driven, and you get 3 chapters of 75 minutes within the game. So it's a lot of puzzle solving, but again more storyline. So it just looks interesting, looks like an interesting twist on the exit game, the unlock game, and it just looks like it's going to be fun.
Sounds good.
So I will be trying that. It plays between 60 and 90 minutes.
Oh, perfect.
What about replayability? Because that would be an issue.
Well, apparently this is the good thing about it, because there's different pathways you can go down, so there's different trees, so you can play it again and you'll get a different outcome probably.
Wow. That's good.
So that's actually another intriguing thing about it, which is better than play once, sell or destroy. So there you go, that's me.
Okay.
Cool, that sounds cool.
Stefan.
I'm going to make John the odd one out, because my number 3 is also like an adventure type game. So it's Midara, which is a choose your own adventure co-op dungeon crawler with what's being sold as a unique dice mechanic for combat. I don't know what makes it unique yet, because they've not given any details, but looks good. You can play it as solo with an app, or you can play with an app and it's co-op. choose your own adventure, so that means there's plenty of replayability, and it's
It's really quite similar in reality.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Like, the three of us have gone for very similar style
And
games,
then John chose that really
kind.
boring one over.
Well, I thought people might want variety, you know. Let's not get boring and going adventure games.
Let's hope they carried on watching after the first pitch.
Yeah, all they did, they were
So
intrigued.
Midara looks really good. Check it out.
Cool. Right, number 2 for me. Well, has any of you here wanted to be a scruffy-looking nerve herder?
Yes, always.
Yes, always.
In 1981, yes, I did.
Right. Well, of course, you can be a scruffy-looking nerve herder playing Star Wars Outer Rim, the new board game from Fantasy Flight. It's basically you're playing as what everybody's always wanted to play as: the smugglers, the scoundrels, the bounty hunters, Boba Fett, Han Solo, Lando, Jyn Erso from Rogue One.
Can you be Greedo?
No, there's still some more characters to be announced.
Expansion-tastic.
But essentially, it's like an arc of the planets that sort of slot together, so plenty of room for expanding, extra planets along the outer rim. You've got to be the first to collect 10 fame, becoming the infamous smuggler. All the characters have personal goals. Even the ships that you have goals.
As in to keep them out in a specific way, or
yeah, you have to do a specific thing with them, or get to a specific location, or do a certain number of things. But it's early days again with this. Same as Midara, I think there's not a great deal about. Yeah, I mean, Fantasy Flight have done a 2-hour video of it, like a live stream of it. But obviously, you'd have to pick your way through that. I don't know if it's a full game.
It's probably a playtest.
Because they also did one on for the Lord of the Rings game. So there might have been a few things in one. So you can buy your ships, you can upgrade them. They have different slots in them for like a crew and various things like cargo, extra
like
cargo.
Firefly sounds a bit like that.
Yes, a few people have likened it to the Firefly game. It's basically the game that they wanted Firefly to be, I think a lot of people have said.
They said how long it's going to
be quite long, I believe, 3 hours base game.
That's what Firefly's like.
Yeah. So essentially, you can upgrade all your weapons and your characters. You can capture characters, take them to specific locations, get a bounty on them, that kind of thing. It also has the same dice as the X-Wing miniatures game.
Makes sense because it's
so whether they're going to because in theory, because it's all either standees or like flat cards with the artwork on. In theory, you could use the ships from X-Wing.
In theory, you could use it as a storytelling device for a campaign.
For campaign X-Wing, yeah. So maybe they will cross promote it. I don't know.
It wouldn't.
But we're looking again at Q2 2019, so imminently.
Right.
Sounds good.
Okay. So there's more to be revealed about it, more characters and so on. But sounds like a good.
Anything Star Wars, it gets my vote. So.
Well, yep.
Oh, damn it. Okay, so my number 2, I was making fun of John's choices before, but my number 2 is called Barrage, and it's, in terms of, a barrage is like a dam, but it can regulate the amount of water that goes through the dam.
Oh, this sounds like a great game. Oh, right. That's settling for what sounds to be a really fun game.
Before we start, I have to commend your theming choice.
Yeah.
Okay. So because that's why I went this, because I have put basically. Right. Let me go through it all. Okay. It's a Euro worker placement.
I'm in.
Okay. Resource management.
I'm in.
Think along the lines of you can ban your gallerist. It's quite heavy, but once you know how it all works, it makes sense and it's quite neat. Okay. You're building up your own hydroelectric power systems to generate as much electricity as possible. You have your own board that unlocks rewards as you place things on the main map to improve the logistics. So basically, you're trying to get water that's constantly coming down on the board into your own power plants and power systems. You can, if someone's doing really well, you can maybe divert water away from their power system. So there's a bit of take that, maybe not take that, but a little bit of, if someone's running away with it, you can do things to stop them. Resources as well, there's a wheel in there. I want to call it a rondelle to get you even more excited, okay? There's a wheel in there, so you always have resources, you never lose anything, okay? They only get tied up. So say I wanted to build something, it might involve some cement. So I'll put this cement on one section of the wheel and this little token that says I'm building this particular thing, and then the wheel turns.
Nothing says fun and excitement more
Like
than
we-
cement.
Yeah, well, you said you
Okay.
never lose anything, but
So-
what about the will to live?
I know, it sounded really good, John.
Right.
I love that. Love that.
Also, there's an asymmetric player board, so that on top of the main board variability, there's lots of replayability. But mechanisms-wise, I put that it's got nothing that's like groundbreaking. Other games have similar things, rondelles and thinking of maybe Ticket to Ride with your roots. Maybe it's obviously a lot
throwing
heavier.
really good games. Like Ticket to Ride.
But
With cement.
the theme as well. The theme.
Don't call it Barrage.
Well, we will see. We will see when it comes out. But I just feel like it's a worker placement, a little rondelle in there, resource management, a little bit of take that, which Euros sometimes are missing, and it's not.
Who needs a theme when you've got mechanics like
To be
It
honest,
sounds innovative. Do you know what? It
It's-
sounds really like innovative.
it's something that everybody, all of us probably have wanted to do.
Yes, absolutely.
John.
Yeah.
But there again, having
I've
said
never
that,
had the opportunity to do it before.
having said that, I do love Power Grid. So
Ah.
Power Grid is as boring a theme as you can get.
Thanks, John.
But having the name Barrage makes me think of like planes,
Balloons.
strafing and shooting something.
Blowing stuff up,
Not particularly building
Not
a dam.
the- not the
It must
other
be
definition of barrage.
Oh, barrage, and you open and you turn the box over, you go.
Oh.
a barrier across a body of water.
Hopefully,
That's the kind of barrage you were talking about.
Hopefully you play it and then you go,
Bomb it!
damn.
Damn.
Oh!
So that one is due. That one is actually a kickstarted one, and it was due April. So I
Was it-
won't hold my breath.
Are you
to
sure?
see that
Was
anytime
that information released on April the 1st?
soon. So
Yeah.
Thank you,
Oh, you
Steve.
want a false nudge, I'll do that. It's very good.
Yeah.
Okay, my next game. Have you ever wanted to play Mysterium?
Yes.
Have you
Yeah.
ever wanted to play a
Probably.
social deduction game?
Always.
Have you ever felt the need to merge the two?
Very much.
Okay.
Merging
Yeah,
is good.
yeah.
Because the game coming out in September
Long wait.
is Obscurio. 2
Oh.
to 8 players. Family weight, 40-minute playtime.
Oh.
This is what we want. So basically, the sorcerer is out to get you, but there's a person who is helping you navigate through his lair. And he's using cards, dream cards, perhaps a bit like Mysterium.
Wow.
Is it also a Ukrainian game? Is it
I don't actually know. I didn't write that down.
Just because it's called a similar name like Obscurio.
I'm going to say yes, even though I have no idea.
Okay.
So what you do is you'll place cards down. It's a cooperative game, but
One of you.
one of you, as he says, is a traitor.
Oh.
Love it.
So you are trying to throw the others off the scene. But the weird thing about this, or the better thing about this, is you have a card, and normally in Mysterium you have no idea what you're looking at. So it could be the colour, it could be that little thing in the corner that the ghost has spotted, and
Yeah.
you haven't. You're looking at it. This is red, but that's a spider.
Yeah.
But here you can use arrows to point at the particular area of the card you want.
Ah.
People
Oh, I like that.
okay.
So, and obviously, if you're the traitor, you're going to go, ooh, yeah, look at this spider. Not that red bit there.
Try and throw people off the
So,
I like it.
and that's basically the idea of the game. So it's a semi-cooperative, apart from Adam, who will be
The bad guy.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So there you go. That's Obscurio, September 2008.
Wow, can I change my list? That sounds really good. That actually sounds really good. My number 2 is, you guys can all switch off for like 2 minutes, because my number 2 is Adeptus Titanicus Horus Heresy Doom of Molech. So if you've ever, these guys are like,
No, I'm okay
if
with
you've
that.
read The Vengeful Spirit,
Yeah, do you remember when we took the mick out of Adam's theme, and then we took the mick
this
out
is
of
fighting and stuff, like it's a good thing, don't worry about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
go on, carry on.
So if you've read Vengeful Spirit, which is one of the multitude of novels in the Horus Heresy series released by Library Games Workshop, then you'll know that the theme of that particular novel was about large war machines called knights fighting each other across battlefield, and that's essentially what Adeptus Titanicus Horus Heresy Doom of Molech does. So Adeptus Titanicus is already out and is basically Titan-based game. Titans are like 200-meter tall robots. Knights are slightly smaller, so it's essentially just an adaptation of that into playing with knights. So if you like Adeptus Titanicus, it's going to be amazing. That's it.
But it's not an expansion.
No.
All right. Okay. I was just checking because usually
I knew that was coming. That question.
Right. Right. So number one, and my number one has already been mentioned. Have you ever wanted to mess with Sauron's ring?
Yeah, always.
I have.
I have. I'm sure many of us have. Of course, I'm talking about Lord of the Rings: Journeys in Middle Earth.
Yes.
The
same as Adam. Yes.
Oh my God.
I had Q2 2019, which is what it says on the official site at the moment.
Oh.
What did you say?
April.
April. Well,
It's
it
Q2.
is Q2. Described as Lord of the Rings Gloomhaven. Like you said, it's been built from the ground up to incorporate the act from the start, so it's not been like a bit of an add-on. And it's a culmination of everything they've done so far with the act-based stuff, with Descent, Imperial Assault, Mansions of Madness particularly. It looks very much like that, including some of the tokens. Like you mentioned, the NPCs. That's
It's part of the
yeah, the non-player characters are basically little tokens like Mansions of Madness. They'll appear on the map. You place them down and you can go and speak to them, and then they may give you choices, they may give you information, they may give you particular extra skills.
I do like the fact that you're sort of mixing the Mansions of Madness with the Gloomhaven.
Yeah, it's
a bit of storyline, because that's what Gloomhaven is missing.
Yes, definitely. Branching paths, and there seems to be a lot of content. People who had a bit of a playthrough of it, I think it was Man versus Meeple, they had done 5 scenarios. And one of the stats that they track, I think it was the gold or law, perhaps it was. They were on like 30 something, and there was stuff worth in the hundreds. So there's obviously a lot more content.
Yeah, you can use law to buy more cards and things.
Yeah, I like the fact that the journey map, where it gives you the layout of the tiles, which is like the overview of the area, and then you zoom in into, say, a tavern or a cavern or anything with riding with a cavern.
Yeah.
A hallway or a palace or something like that. And the decks of cards, 14 cards, you can upgrade them through the game. You've got your basic cards, which are general sort of cards. You've got roles unique to the characters. You've got items that can be upgraded. You've got unique class cards and your choice on the classes that you take, like Adam mentioned. 2 actions per turn, move, attack and interact. All card based, like I said, no dice. And that is an interesting thing about it, that your decisions on what cards you're buying is dependent as much on what you're gaining from the card as it is the symbol on the card that helps you build your deck. So it does sound very, very interesting. And of course, Lord of the Rings. And knowing how the Mansions of Madness app works, that has atmospheric music and things like that in the background of the app.
Yeah.
And also narrated sort of start of the mission stuff. To have that with Lord of the Rings kind of stuff going on could be
amazing.
Could be really, really good. So again, Q2 2019.
I don't see. I think I put my finger on why I'm not blown over by this, because I think I love Lord of the Rings and all this kind of thing. I think what it is I'm playing right now Lord of the Rings D&D, and this all just sounds like all the fun we have with D&D, but just like put in a straitjacket and watered down. But it sounds good. Like if you like Gloomhaven, then cool. But I think that's why I didn't like Gloomhaven, because it's like, well, where's the RPG?
Yeah, they did say RPG in a box.
Because Gloomhaven was sold as kind of D&D or RPG in a box, and there's no RP in it at all. No. It's like there's no RP element to it. There's no story. It doesn't matter what. It's just dungeon crawls.
I think some people prefer that it's got that structure. Some people will fly with an RPG and they'll be happy.
Of course, like full-on open RPGs are not for everyone at all. But it's good that it's there. I think that's why it's not floating my boat.
That same kind of feel, but more.
No, some people absolutely like. There's lots of people who think D&D, I'd love it, but I need a board. I need a bit more structure. I can't improvise. I'm not good at improvising, and also because it's a co-op thing. Like if there's 2 or 3 people in a D&D session or any RPG session who are good, you feel like you get left behind.
Yeah.
So I can understand why they're there. And that's great. It's just that's why it's not.
And of course, the main thing for me would be you don't have to do all of that work of having the DM work, essentially.
But that
can be rewarding.
I was going to say that's why DMs do it, though. Like there's no reluctant DMs because you just never do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, Adam.
Okay, so good choice by the way, John. Well done.
Yeah,
So I'm going to stick with that same sort of theme because I think I'm trying to find the next Gloomhaven, but this time I'm going to go to Celtic and Celtic mythology and mixed with Arthurian legends. And I'm talking about Painted Grail, the Fall of Avalon. Okay.
Is it Dream?
It is.
This has got big buzz.
No, it has got a lot of buzz. This one, 1 to 2 hours per game. It's a legacy game again, solo or co-op adventure experience. So the world itself is created using tarot cards. Think along the lines of Seventh Continent, where you put them out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. With a slight difference, you can explore each location. And then you flip it over, and it will reveal something. And then there's a journal that goes alongside the game. So that location then corresponds to something inside the journal. It gives you a little bit more narrative based on that particular thing that you're looking at there. And then there might be some choices that are influenced by your particular characters. Again, the choices made have long-lasting effects. So there's chapters in it. There's three acts in the whole game. 15 chapters per act. So a choice that you make in chapter 1 might have an impact later on in chapter 10 in that same act, maybe, or in one of the later acts. So it matters the things you do. All the characters are asymmetrical, which is always good. They have stats such as aggression, empathy, courage, caution, practicality, magic, diplomacy. So there's lots of different things that you can work on there. There is a little bit of a deck building element in terms of your character's combat. You have a combat deck and a diplomacy deck, so you can add extra cards to both of those decks, depending on which specialism you want to go down. Again, there's no dice, so the combat sounds absolutely crazy, and I don't quite know how it works properly. But basically, each combat card has like icons on the side. So you play one combat card, and then you play the next time it's your turn, you'll play another combat card, and the icon has to match to kind of power up that card. So you create a sequence of combat cards, and if, say, me and Steve were in the same fight, he could add onto my sequence to kind of kill this creature.
Sounds a bit like Nightfall. The deck building game where you essentially can chain cards depending on the symbols that are on the cards.
That does sound like kind of what's going on. There's also another interesting aspect where the monsters have a range that you can kill them. So say they've got 5 health. You might have to hit a range of 5 to 8, and if you do too much damage, the monster's just going to flee, and you're not going to get any rewards, and you've probably maybe got hit a couple of times. So you can't just smash out your best combos and do an amazing sequencing and destroy everything. You have to really think about the right cards to play at the right time. So you're balancing the cards that you're playing. So yeah, there's a nice little save sheet that each character's got, so they might unlock certain keywords to their character that influence encounters later on. So it just, again, I'm trying to find the next Gloomhaven for me, and this one sounds like it might have some elements that Seventh Continent had, which was quite good, but not quite there for me, mixed with maybe the fighting elements of Gloomhaven. So hopefully Avalon, a nice one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Steve.
Okay, so you may have heard of Game. It's been out a while now. It's set on another planet, one next to ours, a red one. It's called Mars, that planet. And there's a great game that you may have heard of called Terraforming Mars.
No.
Nobody's mentioned that to me before.
It's a great game.
I've seen it being played.
Oh, okay. Right.
So, but this is a new game coming out in April. Sorry, no, the Kickstarter is launched on April the 18th.
Yeah.
So that's no guarantee of 2019.
Yeah.
But it's 2 to 4 players, 90 to 150 minutes. So
Very Steve.
It's the extreme end of your range,
out
Steve.
of my comfort zone. Okay. But what you do get is a more complicated version of Terraforming Mars. So it might be a bit chunkier, a bit meatier.
Okay.
So it's essentially Terraforming Mars.
Hold on, have they given it a name yet? Or
It's called Mars.
He's right.
I looked at this actually. I thought it should be on my list, but I didn't put it because it's a Kickstarter, so it might never happen.
So yeah, but the fact that it's set on Mars is probably going to be a good indicator it's going to make it.
I've seen some good posts about it. Yeah.
So it's essentially terraforming Mars. You're building farm generations, mines. But everybody has their own secret agenda, so there's a little bit of screwage. It looks like there potentially. Worker placement, which you can never go wrong with. Engine building.
Can you not?
No, you cannot.
No.
Okay. So, and this area control, which isn't really my cup of tea. These guys tend to like area control for some reason. But so that's a poorer element, but it depends.
Don't tell me with that.
One of the more popular elements of board game
These
design.
guys are the area controllers, not me.
And and it's terraforming Mars. So as I've written here, it's not to anticipate.
It's not linked to Terraforming Mars.
No, there is no affiliation with terraforming Mars.
These designers have made some other good games. I can't think of who it was.
Yeah, they have. They're very highly complex games. Yeah. Like over 4. It says they're about 4.5 on the BGG.
Right.
4.5.
Yeah.
I don't think we've played a 4.5, have we?
That's they're not saying it is going to be that, but that's
what they're aiming at.
Yeah, so you're looking at the galleries, you're looking at Kanban.
Kanban was that high.
I think it's up there.
It's over 4.
Was it Kanban? Right.
Yeah, so it's in that ballpark of good, chunky, meaty Euro games. So and for those can be hit and miss for me.
Yeah.
So it's potentially a good miss, but because of the theming, I think it's going to hit. So that's the reason.
Yeah, you can't beat Mars, can you?
Anticipated game, exactly.
Yeah. It sounds good. The only thing I think it might be missing is a nice barrage.
Yeah, needs a barrage. Once you build the walkway,
Well, you probably do
build it down.
after building aqueduct or something on Mars.
I'm your man.
I think this is interesting because I looked at the Lord of the Rings thing and it wasn't for me just because I played Lord of the Rings D&D. I looked at on Mars and I think I tried to avoid Kickstarters just because you never know. It's not Do you know what I mean?
It's true, but if it's a bigger company and they've made things before, they generally do deliver.
Yeah.
But
never know.
But it might not even be this year.
That's the other thing.
That's true.
For another 3 years. Or you might buy it this year and not get it until 2021. And then
It just looks so interesting though. I could not put it on.
Yeah. Oh, I looked at it as well.
Yeah. So my number 1 is U-Boat, the game.
Is what?
U-Boat, you might know it as U-Boat.
Oh, right.
I'll pronounce it correctly.
Okay.
U-Boat, underwater boat, the game. So a little bit like Captain Sonar, but not. A little bit like.
Well, it's like an overly elaborate version of Captain Sonar.
Yeah.
But it is essentially a simulator, isn't it?
It's a simulator game. I sort of noticed it. I basically put this list together in about 25 minutes. I noticed it and I thought, ooh, because Adam had actually talked about, you'd seen this at Expo, hadn't you, and your description of it really intrigued me, which is kind of a app-driven, but also kind of a really involved version of...
Chaotic.
A little bit chaotic, which I like. A little bit like
stressful,
which I like. Anything in real time.
It's one of those games, remember when we were saying last time about Vlada Chvátil's games, where they're stressful, they were sort of real time.
Yeah, but
it's very much in that vein. But with the app, because someone is a navigator, you look at the periscope and you get the phone like that, and you're essentially looking with the phone as if that is the periscope.
There's a murder mystery game like that, isn't it, where you're looking at the room with But it's got that whole kind of co-op thing going on, which I love. A good co-op game. It's got real time. It's got that added sort of stress of real time, and that chaos, and that's all. When I think of board games, there's the sorts of mechanics that I really like.
It's proper maritime navigation as well. You get the navigation.
It's
tools.
full on. It's intense. It's
because someone was. I saw a post online. I think it was yesterday. Someone saying, can anyone help how to navigate using these tools? We can't do it. So it is actually properly how you would navigate. A little bit simplified.
I'm sure it's a lot more simplified than an actual U-Boat, which probably cranking gears and stuff.
I think it's starting to fulfil. So some people have had it already.
Yeah.
Sort of December time. I think it's not at retail yet. Oh, your dad's got it
right now.
I'm
not playing it, but he has got it.
So it's on its way. Right. It will be a retail, I guess, eventually.
Yeah, this year.
2019.
George has got it here as well.
George has got it.
That was my number 3.
Okay, everybody. Right, so
I've got a couple of honourable mentions.
Oh, honourable mentions.
No, I only have a fun. Mine was a funny one. I was expecting that real one. What's your real one?
Right, well, mine was on my list at first, and then I realised that I broke the rules.
Right.
So it's actually.
So John should say it then, really, shouldn't
Yeah, John, do you want to read it out?
Is you like breaking the rules, John?
Go on,
It's not on there, though.
All right.
Take it for your mind. It's actually it's a second printing. You see, I thought it was a second. It's a second printing because this game was quite hard to get a hold of, as far as I was aware.
Really?
But basically, the concept of the game is quite fun. Think of heroes fighting monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's been done quite a lot.
Yeah.
You are not those heroes.
Yeah.
Okay. You are shopkeepers selling equipment to those heroes. Okay. So if those heroes do well in battle, you get a couple of extra points. All you really care about is selling as much stuff as you can to those heroes.
Yeah.
And that is the aim of the game, to make as much money. One hero might come in, he might be absolutely rubbish at fighting monsters, but he's got loads of money, buy anything you want.
Yeah.
So you sell him as much as you can. So the concept's quite interesting. It's called Bargain Quest. And it's
That sounds fun.
yeah, it's
So
quite
it's
a light game. Yeah, 60 minutes I think maximum. Honourable mention.
My only honourable mention was, I thought you were all going to do honourable mentions. My only honourable mention, which is again against the rules, was going to be Deep Madness Face of the Sphere, which is an expansion to Deep Madness. And the only reason it was on there is I highly anticipated that Gareth, a member of our club, is going to pay me to paint the miniatures. I'm currently painting 180 miniatures for all these other expansions, so that's why it's anticipated.
I don't think I have. You got one?
I've got
one. Thing.
Tiny Towns is mine, coming out on the 30th of April, quite soon. 1 to 6 players, 45 to 60 minutes on the wheelhouse.
In the bottom zone.
So resource management, lots of cubes. You actually draft cubes here, but the different thing about this is you have a grid where you can build a town. So you would use different resources to build a building, for example. So it might be an L shape, but you might need rock, wood, gold, and another wood there in that shape. And when the resources are drafted, you have to put it in one by one. And once you've got the right resources for the building, you put the building in, which will then give you abilities to help you further on with your rest of your building. But the thing about it is, if you took a wood, everybody has to take a wood as well, and they have to put it in their grid. So it might screw them over if you know they need a wood.
So as well
so
as
you might take a stone just to not let them have that building, for example.
So as well as you deciding what you want for yourself, you're also trying to make people get stuff that they
Reduce the media resources.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're Gareth or Simon, you'll be definitely picking
doing
up
that.
stuff.
I have thought of one honourable mention. And that is, it's not actually an expansion to it, it's a new set, a new core set. It's Age of Ascension, I think it's called, for Keyforge.
Yeah.
So it's a new set. It can be played with the original set. All of the original cards are all still valid, but it has new mechanics on the cards, like Alpha and Omega. Like Alpha cards can only be played the very first card of your turn, and Omega cards can only be played the very last card of your turn. That kind of thing. It's more of the same houses and so on, but I think they've got a slightly more streamlined core set for about £18 that has 2 completely random decks and all the tokens and everything you need, whereas the first core set had some teaching decks and was about £35 to £40 price point. So I think they've gone the right way for this new set, but I'll definitely be picking that up.
Sounds good. Cool.
Okay, so everybody happy with those?
Yeah.
Right, well thanks everybody for watching. As always, the main reason for doing these videos is to get you to come and join us. We're playing games here every week at the YN Welcome Centre, Cheetham Hill, Manchester. Please come along and join us and help spread the word by liking and subscribing.
And comment.
And buying a Finker.
Also comment, don't buy a Finker, don't do that.
And in future, in the next couple of weeks, there will be a new video on Steph Paints Minis with an overhead, finally, with an overhead. I'll be showing you how to paint faces in real detail.
Oh, very good. That's something I'll be watching, definitely.
Yeah, hopefully the guy from Tabletop Magazine will watch that.
Yes, please.
Oh, yeah. Well, he needs to, doesn't he?
Could do with that. It's mean, but it's also true.
Thank you, everybody. See you soon.